Let me just double check. What's good, people? We are back. Quality over quarantine. I'm sorry I'm late, yeah, but I am so rusty. Like, I'm trying to figure out what buttons do what. I can't remember. I feel like it's the first day of school, and I'm not even like the first day of school where I've been in high school. I feel like a year 7, and I've walked through the door, and I don't know where anything is, and I'm scared to ask. Right? It's been emotional. It's been emotional. It's been an emotional time, but I think we got it sorted out. If there's any audio issues or anything goes wrong, then just make sure you just hit me up and be like, yo, Jen, pattern the ting, bruv. But you already know the guest we got today. The live is kicking off already. Like, boy, it seems like we've been missed. Let's just get straight into it, man. Hey, yo, big up one like Blizzard. How you doing, bro?
What's going on, man? How you doing, man? You well?
I'm actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm last week was horrible. This week has been good, and I'm hoping it just stays that way. I need to just learn to not do any drastic releases anymore, man. Just chill. Like, don't be like,
you're an impulsive guy like me, innit? I feel you completely.
It's like, it's cool because it means like people are like, oh, I didn't know that was coming, and you can just hit him with a surprise project every now and then or a surprise song. But on the flip side, it's hell because I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Things don't get done in time. This is how mad it is, yeah? So up until the day before the release, I didn't even have anyone to mix the music. So I'm just there like, I have no idea who's going to mix this. And luckily...
This is why you need to learn to mix your own stuff, man.
I can mix my own stuff, but I'm not confident enough to be like, this is the level it should be at. And it's like certain EPs and things I've mixed myself, but at the same time I'm always just like, I've learned a certain amount, but just not enough that I'm confident to be like, yeah, this is how it should be. But this kind of takes me in nicely, yeah, because so from what I know about you, yeah, I know of you as a battle rapper. I know of you make music. Cool. That's, if you're talking about the scene, loads of people do that. You're like, yeah, cool. You rap, you make music. Okay, cool. What makes you special? And I've heard songs from you and been like, yeah, dude's cold. But then you put out a project, and the project was so good I was offended. I was just like, what the fuck? And you know what, yeah? Like, so because you sent it to me early, yeah? So I've been playing this. And then like last week I was like, did that project come out? I didn't see it was even out. So then I've checked and been like, oh, it's out. Okay, well, I've got to speak about this. And then bare people were like, I heard this before, this is cold. Yeah. And I'm just like, obviously I messaged you and I was just like, bro, this is fucking nuts. And the mad thing about it is, yeah, so when I make music, there's a certain feel that I want from a project, yeah? And I try my best to get it where it is. But when I heard yours, I was like, Like, that's what I'm trying to do, man. Like that. You see that, yeah? That's how it should sound. That's how it should feel. Everything was sick. And then what pissed me off even more, and what supremely offended me, is that you did all the production yourself. And then I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, what's the fucking point? Like, why am I even here?
Come on, man.
Bruv, it's
You
so
have to understand.
sick.
I'm not hearing that, Joe. I appreciate it, bro. But listen, you just dropped the sickest concepts album I've heard since God knows how long, bro. Like, I ain't heard an album that good in years, man. I'm not even joking. You need to cop that. And I listened to, check me just taking all the attention away. On to Jen, yeah. He had a track, The Haunted Trap House. I ain't felt that uncomfortable since Dance with the Devil came out. I heard it for the first time. I swear to God. Carry on.
Nah, that's nuts. But it's like, it's so good to kind of, I don't know, man, because I feel as well, yeah, because I said this earlier on Twitter, and I was saying about how, because music moves so fast, and because of the age we live in, like, you don't get to sit with a project. So you might hear a project like one time and be like, yo, that's sick.
On to the next.
Yeah, because there's no time. Like, West Side Gun put out 3 albums this year. Like, I mean, how else is there time for anybody else? So I'm just about listening to this album, then the next one comes out, and then even when you break down, like, well, when do you listen to albums? Especially now where no one's going out anymore. I listen to albums in the car. Where am I driving to? Lockdown again. Like, what's going on? So to me, there's a lot of music that gets missed. And so for something to really hit home, to me, it has to be like on a serious level. It has to be on a level where I'm just like, okay, this is sick. And just content wise, I think content wise, it's next level. Like, it's next level. I just feel like what you're saying as well, because this is another thing as well. Like you said, or like I said, everybody raps, everyone makes music. Okay, cool, big deal. But because you do what you do, and it's just you, it's like, I'm talking about my life. No one else can talk about your life the way you talk about it. And that in itself is just like, that's what I want to hear from every single rapper. When I listen to a project, I'm like, who are you? Like, I want to, by the end of the project, be like, oh, do you know what? I know this person better. And when I listened to your project, I was just like, damn, okay, like, things just make more sense. Because obviously you have a sense of a person when you see them online or whatever. But to me, that's the best way of making music. The music should help you get to know that person. So what was the process?
Transcends the person, innit? Yeah.
There we go, man. So, like, what was the process in you making the album, and how did it come together?
Yeah, so I was doing a lot of work I work in a call center, innit? Let's just put it straight out there. I work in a call center, have a 9 to 5. It's gravy. What happened was, after a while, I was getting a bit bored with just doing the same thing, going to the smoking area, having a cigarette, listening to drill. So I was like, I need to be productive with my time, because I've got 5 hours a week where I can do whatever I want. Because when I go home, I'm shattered, you know? I want to just watch TV and forget about it. So I was using my time and thinking, right, I've got a laptop, I can put this in my backpack, I've got headphones, I'm just going to make beats because this is making me happy. And for a while, like 2016 to 2019, I wasn't feeling happy, and I wasn't feeling like anything was giving me excitement. And then I went to Britters and Canes, in like January, with beats that I'd made at my lunch break at work, and was like, he reached out to me and was like, you don't need to pay for studio, but I've got you, because you're struggling and you need, you know, I even put it on Twitter. I was like, listen, I've got no budget. I need help. Like, please, can someone reach? And then he was like, I got you. I went to his house and recorded Letter, Smoking Ban, in the first like 2 hours of me meeting him, just straight away back.
That's crazy.
And then I was like, yeah, let's pencil in a second meeting. So then the next time I went, I recorded Bad Friend, 0161, My Part, and then Logic on Lunch Break, and Bad Friend, and like I did 4 tracks in like 3 hours. That's that. So I did, in 6 hours, I did like 6 tunes, and the rest of it, all the production was me. Britters and Kane helped a lot with the engineering, because wizard, innit? Like, you know what Brit's like?
Yeah.
In 3 hours, like, yeah, it's a little thing I put together in it. Like, check what you think of that. He's just a wizard. So after that, I just came home and was like, I'll record the rest of it. All these beats. And the thing is, with being a producer, I know what I like the sound of. And I think I know what complements my vibe best sonically. Yeah. So I can sit down and experiment and use my music taste, because like I'm a weirdo in it. Like I listen to like Radiohead, Pink Floyd, and then I listen to like Moment of Truth by Gangstar like a 10 minute later.
Yeah.
Like I'm dead weird with it, and I'm very very erratic and impulsive with my music taste. So I just went to the drawing board and was like, all right, cool. I want to make an album that I want to listen to. And my friends in the call center can be like, yo, there's a way out of this. I can get out of this one day. So that's the whole point, was like, I'm making music on my lunch break at work because it's cathartic. It's an escape from the struggle and the hassle that being in a job causes. It's just a way out, innit?
See, this is funny as well, yeah, because number one, actually, big up Britizen. One thing that really stood out to me was the mix. I said to you the other day, the song that you sent me, and just like with the production voice, everything, to me it sounds expensive. Like it just there's certain, when I listen to certain music, there's certain things I want to hear, and there's certain things that stick out to me. And one thing that I love about this album, actually I just love about your sound, is that fact that you understand what your sound is, and the sound that you like, and the sound you sound good on. And then what that does, it kind of creates a cohesive soundscape through the whole album. So you could go to any track and it just sounds like, this could kind of sound like it comes off that track. It all goes together.
Precisely. Yeah.
And to me, again, it's a personal thing, but I love that. I love when it all fits, because to me, it's kind of like, I always see albums like a movie, So I want all the scenes to fit. I don't want one scene to be one thing and all of a sudden it's a black and white movie. I'm like, wait, what happened? It can work sometimes, but it doesn't always work. And I think
I wanted it to be like that. Like I wanted it to feel like almost like how the Black Mirror episodes have an internal theme, but they all have separate vibes to them. So the whole point of the album was to make it a collection of short stories. That was my whole point. So Bad Friend has its own start, finish, and middle. Same with Logic on Lunch Break, and everything has a resolution, but at the same time can feel like, for example, like I had, no joke, I had 30 different track lists.
That makes sense. You know what? I feel that.
30 different track lists. I tried the album in reverse. So I tried it from Logic on Lunch Break to the other way around, actually. I tried it from Coup de Grace to Logic on Lunch Break, and I tried like Smoking Ban at the second track, and I thought after a while I put it on shuffle, and the album worked in the most recent way I shuffled it, and I remembered it and just wrote it down, and then that was the finished track list.
That's actually crazy.
I was happy about that because I'm always on shuffle. I don't know about you, apart from when I hear an album for the first time, has to be start to finish, take it in, it's an experience, it's a 50-minute listen, bang. But when I've listened to an album once, twice, and I've heard it in its entirety the way it was supposed to be presented, then I can go to shuffle. So most of my life is on shuffle. I listen to your album back to front, innit? Now, I'll most likely go from my favourite track and shuffle it, but feel like I can then every now and again go back to the original track listing in the form. So that was kind of where I was going, because I don't know about you yet. Do you look at your Spotify analytics and think, why did you go to that track first? Because sometimes track 4 has more plays than track 1 on a project, and it's like, that's weird. I'm not talking about tracks that were released first. I'm talking about like the whole album is brand new, but one of my tracks in like 6 tracks down had more plays than track 1. So it's like someone must have saw the name and was like, I like the sound of that. So it's kind of the point. Like I want people to feel like they can just sort of delve in and out of whatever part of the album they choose.
That's it's an interesting way of looking at it. I think I'm always, because of the way I make music, I'm always like, no, you listen to it this way. You watch the Marvel movies in this order. You watch the Harry Potter movies in this order. Like I'm that kind of person. I'm always like, I'm very analytical about movies, music. I always want to hear it how it goes. So it's strange, and it's cool that you're just like, nah, it all works in any way you kind of listen to it.
I think there's a beauty in lack of cohesiveness at times.
Right. Like
things feeling unfinished, there's a beauty in that. You know what I mean? Like, was it John Cage did 4 Minutes of Silence, bro? And it's a very classic minimal standard in music. It's 4 minutes 33 of silence, and it's a classic standard of music. And that I like to look at music from more of an artistic perspective sometimes rather than a sonic perspective.
Right.
So like one of my favorite bands being Radiohead. If you ever listen to Radiohead, every single album is different. Every single album they reinvent themselves to the point where you would think it's 9 different bands. That's the vibe I like. I like music to feel sort of like you don't know what to expect. So that's why with the album I thought I'm going to push the boat out here and try every single vibe that I can. I'm going to try singing, I'm going to try hip hop, I'm going to try grime. I'm going to try and make things more ambient and weird. And at the end of the day, music has to be enjoyable, because if music's not enjoyable, what are you fucking doing it for? You know what I mean? Like, quit. Just get out and try something else.
See, this is like one of the reasons where I kind of moved away from the traditional UK hip hop sound a few years ago, was because I felt like people had kind of lost the reason that we do music. So the soul was kind of out of it, and I felt like people were trying to do like multis and patterns and stuff just for the sake of it. And it's like,
words,
it's like, okay, cool. Like you've thrown in mad ingredients into this cake, but the cake tastes like shit. Like, and at the end of the day, we're here to eat cake. Like, you're not helping. So that's why it's so funny as well, because there's so much of my music, especially like the last, I don't know, 5 years of music that I make. It's so simplified, but it's simplified for a reason. It's because I don't care about that. I'm trying to tell you something. Like, listen to what I'm telling you. Don't worry about how many patterns I use or all that kind of stuff.
I've noticed that your tunes have a lot of space in a nice way.
Yeah, just I feel like, because again, it's I'm trying to tell you something, and that's the whole point of it, is the message, the feel, the vibe. Like, the vibe is super important to me, which is why people are always like, why do you like Future so much? I'm like, it's the vibe, man. Why do you like Young Thug? It's the vibe.
Travis Scott's the same, bro. Travis Scott would get spun by most rappers in the game, but sonically he is a vibe, bro. Yep. Freddie Gibbs as well, but actually Freddie Gibbs is a bit. He's a bit of both. Artist.
Yeah.
To me, he's like one of the kings of his vibe. Like, he knows his sound. He knows how to make his sound right. Mac Miller as well, R.I.P., was one of them. Like, he knew his sound, he knew how to create it, and nobody could tell him otherwise. He was a very, very experimental guy.
I got Mac Miller vibes from your album, man.
Good Day was basically Thoughts from a Balcony, my version of it. I listened to Macadelic like tons, and one funny thing about my album is if I take a song, I know what person was influenced straight away by that, and I could probably pinpoint a song as well. Like,
that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. I think I'm like that as well. There's certain songs that I've made that people would be like, I could tell you where I got the idea for that, and you wouldn't put those two together. You wouldn't understand. I'm like, nah, that came from that was a Young Thug vibe, and they'd be like, what? No, that is
exactly.
So let's kind of go back a little bit. Yeah. So how did you get into music, and what was the path getting there? Because I guess a lot of people's first time seeing you was when you went viral.
Oh, the Mark Wrist thing.
Yeah. Which is, it's kind of funny, because I'd seen you before that, and I didn't realize that was so big. And just doing a bit of research, I was like, rah, people really on it like that. But so we'll come to that in a second. But so what was the journey of you kind of finding yourself in the rap game?
Yeah, I was quite lucky, to be fair, because I was always around musical people. So I started in like 2004. So I was 10, 11, because the first thing I ever did that was on a big scale was the tune with Mayhem, me and Shifty and Slayer, called We Big Like, and that was a Channel U thing, and that just went mad, bro. And I was always around sick people. Like, I was always around Shifty. I had dubstep producers, DJs. I used to go to a youth club called Fielding in Manchester, which gets referenced in 0161, where that was the birthplace for most of South Manchester. You know what I mean? So it was a hub for everyone that was creative to meet, mingle, and discuss stuff. And, you always go away with a pen drive, with a USB with music on it, and that's the vibe I was on. Now, I was probably, before Don't Flop, there's like 4 or 5 years, 6 years that people don't really remember, because this was before MySpace, Facebook, Twitter. Like, this was back in the day when Market Street, and we used to go Niketown and that, and we used to, go to the Jewelry Quarter in Birmingham and shot CDs, and that was the vibe I was on. So I was brought along by the older people as like the cute kid to bring the girls in to get them to buy CDs. Girls would be like, oh, he's so cute. Look at this little cue ball-headed white kid. Spit of half hours, blah, blah, blah. And so I was kind of like the token child with bars. but I could spin anyone that was around me because I was a poet. I loved writing and I loved, you know, putting words together. Like God's truth, I could multi-syllable at like 13, bro. Like I'd go around and just be like, yeah, you know, Market Street, Charlie Sheen, that bang. I think I was at 13 years old. But yeah, I was always lucky because I had early experience where a lot of people now that are starting out, they start older. They start 19 and 20. And, you know, I know a lot of people who don't get their break till 30, bro. And I know a lot of people that come out of uni with a MacBook that they got on finance with no experience apart from 2 years of Logic Pro. And I was so fortunate because I could go anywhere and feel like I was known and well, you know, looked after. So I was blessed at that, man. And I wouldn't change anything for the world, even though I was that young and probably didn't. I still don't have a lot of smarts. Don't get me wrong. I'm not as like business savvy as you, and I'm not as business savvy as a lot of other people. But like, I know how to rap, and I feel like I know how to put a good tune together, and the rest will probably follow suit in a couple of years' time, bro. Being honest.
So the first like time people were really seeing you was the Channel U thing, and it's funny as well because like people, I don't think people understand unless you were on Channel U how big Channel U was.
Trust me, bro. Yeah, it was like the MTV base for people that weren't signed, didn't it?
Yeah, but like everyone's eyes were on it. So every single person who liked grime, rap, whatever was watching that. So it's for people who don't understand. Imagine having all the social media in one place, and you could and as well, there wasn't that many. If you look at the amount of artists that were on there wasn't really that many. You know what I mean? Yeah. Your video could be up, and your video could be getting spun like 4 or 5 times a day. Yeah. Whereas now that's just not. There's nowhere that's happening like that.
Yeah.
I remember when my video went up, the day after, like literally the day after, I went to go and sell my CDs as normal and getting mobbed in the streets by schoolgirls. Like, oh my God, that's all your video. And it's just like, wait, what? Like, what the hell is going on here, man?
I never understoed it because I didn't have Sky as a kid, innit? So I had to go to my cousins to see Sky, and I don't even tell a lie. Like, I never got to see the video being broadcast live. So I was only hearing it from people saying, "I just saw you on TV." Yeah. So it's weird, and I went back, like, because I've been doing this thing on my Instagram called Flowvember, where I just like post bare throwbacks in it, like Fire in the Booth, SBTV, whatever I can think of, just something to get people interested in that. And I looked at We Big Like, the music video I did, and at the bottom, because it was recorded from a TV on like a DVD recorder, you can see the codes, the short codes to text in for songs in it. You might see like K Sounds next up, New Brand Flex, Jess Nuke Proof Suit, and like it just makes me laugh because some of these songs, when you think about it, people might not have listened to them songs in 4 years. Not one person might not have listened to any of those tunes, but somehow like we can give them life again. You know what I mean? Just through the power of the internet, we can give them a pulse again, and that's quite a beautiful thing, you know.
It's cool, man. It's definitely like it's a historic time, and sometimes I get like not sad, but I feel sorry for artists coming up now who don't have a platform like that. Like, where do you go to get that look? And people, and it's so funny as well because I always say like, I'm an artist who was very lucky. The time I came up in, I came up in a time where you didn't even have to be that good. You just had to be on. Like, it's a fact, man. And there's so many rappers that I meet, and there's so many rappers that I know that were in the same era as me, that were better than me, super sick, but didn't really make it because basically they just didn't get on. They just didn't get put on. They didn't get.
That's mad, isn't it? When you think about that, that is crazy. Mad. Like and I think it's kind of gone full circle in a way. I might be wrong here because there was a point in like sort of late 2010s and at the end of that decade where it was all about lyrics and putting very, very good songs together. Yeah. And now it's more the vibe, and you know, you have rappers, without naming names and stuff, you have rappers that clearly care more about the production and how it makes people feel than actual content. You know what I mean? And I do think that lends from the Channel U days, because if you listen to like, when I think back, like BOMB Squad and like you think back to like K Sounds and you know, no disrespect, they were just grime tunes where people just spit in grease. And then there was that point where you were hearing Nuke Proof Suit, and you were hearing, old school tunes that were just lyrical and very contenty, and now it's gone back to vibe again. It's just funny how that,
but I agree with you actually, but I think now, on the flip side of that, we live in a place. It's taken a little bit of time, but everyone has a lane now. So there isn't a funnel where you can get yours easier, but you're in a place where, because you have a direct link to the consumer, you can really hit them up and be like, yo, this is what I do. If you like it, come and get it. Which is why I feel like in this era, Griselda do what they do, where that wouldn't have worked 10 years ago. Because 10 years ago, everyone was like, nah, man, no one's into that. Boom bap is dead, boom, boom, boom. But then it gets to a point where it's like, nah, well, but I like that. Okay, well, here's where you find it. And this goes back to your album as well, or just you as an artist. We're kind of stuck in, because we're coming from a label era, where labels dictated what does it mean to be a rapper, right? And you know that when you say, someone goes, oh, you're a rapper, oh, what, you got the gold and are you a gangster, right? So that's the image that was pushed, and that image was pushed by labels predominantly. So they're going, right, this is the thing that works. How do we make more of that, right? In this era, you coming out and saying, nah, I work in a call center. Me coming out and going, nah, I'm a youth worker. People coming out and going, nah, like, yeah, that's cool and all that, but we do this as well. And it allows people to then go, oh, you don't have to fit in that box. You can pretty much do whatever you want. And I feel that's what people really need. And I feel like we do definitely need more artists like you just going, nah, I'm doing this. I don't have to fit in any box because all the lanes are there. So if people like what I do, they can find it. Is that always been like, has there been a time, because I know for me there definitely was, has there been a time when you were like, I don't know if I can be myself doing what I do?
Absolutely. I mean, it's only been in the last 2 years maybe where I actually decided, you know what is there to be embarrassed about? Like, what am I going to lose by hiding my true self? It sounds well cringy in a way, but at the end of the day, I think identity rules overall. So when I listen to music, I feel genuinity from how people speak. So when people do content and deep stuff right, you can feel it, like viscerally really feel it. So I don't want to be the person that hides my identity just for the sake of making music that appeals to a wider demographic. I'd rather appeal to a really remote demographic that get me and feel like they know who I am.
This is really funny as well, yeah, because I know people that have gone out of their way to not be themselves because they wanted to appeal to everyone, and they've ended up appealing to nobody.
Exactly, that's the thing. That's a problem. Like, yes, it's really funny. That's stumped me, that point, actually, because you're absolutely right. You can go too far left, and here's the thing, right? Like, I wish that, at the risk of sounding cringy again, like, I wish that I knew more people that were vocal like me when I was growing up, because music was my only escape route for most of my teens and most of my childhood life. So when I was putting on the radio, I wasn't hearing real stuff most of the time.
100%.
So I'll be honest with you, like, there was only when I started listening to, like, really deep into hip hop, and then I remember hearing Uncommon Valor by Jedi Mind Tricks and thinking, this is a concept that I'm really interested in. And it made me start reading about Nam and that, just because of the, R.A. and Vinny talking about, don't want to go over here, his job is evil. And I was like, this is interesting, because who has done that before? Dance with the Devil as well. You've got to give it its perks, because that's a very deep concept. And I still, I don't know if you've had this recently. Have you ever introduced someone to a track that you feel you've known all of your life, and you're almost envious of their first reaction? It's like the first time so when someone finishes Breaking Bad.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
No spoilers, by the way, because people might not see
I know. But you always wish, I wish I could watch that first episode again, like that first season.
Yeah, I know. Like, I watched the first episode of Sopranos with my missus, and I've not finished it, for the record. I've not got to give it the time.
See.
But without digressing too much, loads of people were like, I am so envious of your position. And that's how I feel about music
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah, I think, you know, the first response that you get is the important one.
Mm.
So if I heard the music I was making now when I was a child and when I was growing up, I feel like I'd have more of my identity and probably be able to understand myself a lot more, because there was no one talking about mental health. It was such a stigma. Like,
Mm.
it was so awful. And I posted it on my Twitter a couple months ago and was like, I made a track called It's Okay to Talk. Someone messaged me about it and was like, Blizz, thank you for making that track. Because of it, I am now going to therapy. It blew
Yeah.
my head off, bro. I was like, music is way bigger. Like, it's way bigger than I ever thought, because this is affecting people's lives. You know what I mean? Causing real movement.
It's funny. So going back probably maybe 5 years, and I've always been a person who I make music because I want to be the best in the field. Not the best, like I got to be better than everyone else, but I want to get to a point. I've got a point in my head where I'm like, that's what I'm trying to get to. I want to be at the point where I get the 1 million streams and I sell 1 million albums, all that business. Cool. That's fine. But I had like an experience, but yeah, going back a few years, and it kind of changed my perception on why you do music and the importance of music. So you might have this idea of this is why you do music or whatever, but once you make the music and you put it out there, it reaches the people, and it reaches people in a way that you might not have thought about before you made it.
Yeah.
And I've had this experience before where people have messaged me and said, your music literally saved my life.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go, do you know what? Like, I don't need any, I never needed any streams. I never needed
Trust
anything.
me.
Like,
yeah.
if the only reason I did what I did was for that, then we're good.
We've won. Yeah.
And I feel like from that point, it kind of freed me up a little bit, because it made me just go, it don't matter now. It just, people are going to take what they take from it. Just do your thing. Just have fun with it. If anything, anything else is a bonus. If, like I said the other day when I put out the documentary, I was like, I know for a fact, it's not going to get mad views or whatever, but all I need, is like, I'll be happy. If 10 people watch the whole thing through, I'm good. Like, okay, you saw it. I put bare hours into it. I'm glad you watched it. Let's move on to the next thing. And it's that whole thing. It's like, you never know like how important your music is. And I think you being, there's different levels to what I see someone being an advocate for mental health is. And I really feel like the position that you play is super important, because it's not an artist talking about mental health. It's a human telling you their experience with mental health issues. And to me, that's a whole different, it's a whole different level. They had me, so I did some work with Bipolar UK, because I work with young people who deal with mental health. And so I was just speaking about the experience of what the people that I work with. And so many people were like hitting me up like, yo, it was good that you spoke about that. And I was just like, yeah, that's cool, but you should be speaking to them. Like, their experience is way more valid and valuable than what I'm just an observer. I just see it. It's all good me talking about this, that, and the third, but me going through it makes it way more valuable.
100%.
But at the same time, I understand. Actually, no. I'm let you say it. How does it feel speaking about your life? Because, and do you feel like that's a help in you dealing with what you deal with?
Yeah, it is. There's definitely a cathartic element to it. And I got to a point where it was actually around when I did Letter to Shifty. I did a track about, it was around when I did Letter to Shifty, I had family problems, and
I forgot about that, man.
because everyone does, and because I was such a recluse, and because I was so scared at that time to talk about my mental health, I didn't even want to sort of do anything. And then I just decided to write it and put it out, and the feedback was enough for me to go, yeah, this has to be my direction moving forward. And with music, at the end of the day, I'm quite selfish in the point I do it for myself first. And this is why, like, I don't care about money and I don't care about streams. I just want to have some sort of escape, and I want some sort of voice for myself, because I beat myself up a lot. Like I'm really, really self-critical. I have very bad self-esteem, anxious pretty much every day. Like, but I know I'm good at one thing, which is music.
Yeah,
Like I
same.
know I could put a tune together, like I said, and the messages I get on a weekly basis, daily basis, that people say like, this track made me do A, B, and C.
Yeah,
This track helped me with A, B, and C. That's alone, that's fine, man.
yeah.
Like, keep me in call centers for the rest of my life because I can come home and do this.
You
And
know,
that's, you know what I mean?
it's so cool that you say that, yeah, because I always say the same thing. I'm like, I'm shit at almost everything. Like, I just can't do, like, there's certain things I do, but I'm not the greatest at them. I do them. But
Jack of all trades, isn't it?
yeah, but when it comes to music, man, I know how to do this. Like, I have, I have supreme confidence in what I do because, number one, it's been proved many times, and to me, it just comes easy. It doesn't. I say this all the time. It's easier for me to make a song than it is for me to sleep because it takes me ages to get to sleep. Like, but I can make a tune in 10 minutes. So that's the. It's cool to hear you say that as well because I think a lot of people have that thing, man, and that's okay. Like, you don't have to be good at everything, but it is really cool when you can find the passion. Yeah, man. What's the thing that you love? What's the thing that you would do for free every day? And to me, that's music. That's the only thing I don't get tired of. Everything else I do is a chore. I hate having to edit videos for other people, but I do it. I hate mixing and mastering. I don't like that part of it. I hate having to send out hoodies every day to people. I love that you buy them, but I hate having to package them up, write addresses. I hate all that, but I love making music. Like, to me, I could do that 24/7. So it's sick to, like, just to hear someone else on that same wave, man.
But the thing is as well, it becomes almost OCD, innit? And like I had a dream a couple of nights ago where the counter melody for the track I was working on just came to me, bro, and I remembered it. That's how vivid.
That's crazy.
Literally, before I even started my 8 a.m. shift, because like, I work from home, innit? So like before I started my 8 a.m. shift, I made sure I went to the room, had the keyboard there, put it down, and I was like, cool.
Got it.
I was even productive when I wasn't awake and conscious. REM and that, like.
I've had that before, man. There was one song I made, and I made it all in my dream. Like, I woke up and I had all the bars, and like I might release that one day actually.
You should do it like a book of rhymes thing, like a book of dreams, innit?
It's crazy, and I've had to do that a few times. I keep my phone by my bed so that when I wake up and I'm like, I got a tune in my head, I can wake up, do the voice note thing, and be like, and then just go back to sleep, and it'd be like, my missus is like, what the hell's going on? Like, don't worry.
I don't know about you, innit? Because like obviously Charlie sometimes, my missus, she's like, what are you doing up at this time of the night? And I'm like, I just got a bar and 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm dead to the world, and somehow I'm like, clocked it, bang.
Hey, I want to let's big up Charlie actually, yeah. So, I think in this, I don't know, like, not this industry, this game or whatever, however you want to call it, it's super rare that you kind of see couples support each other and both kind of doing things in the public eye. How does that work? And it's cool because I see she's in the comments right now in the live. Big up Charlie, like, always bigging you up and always supporting. How has that helped? Not only just the music side of things, but how has that helped with the whole keeping you sane, man, keeping your mental health strong and having that support?
Fam, she kept me alive, bro. Let's give her the respect she deserves. She fully kept me alive, and like, she's my manager, my best friend, my soulmate. She's everything, and she's the constant. So it's important, that she gets her dues, and like, she's doing. It's funny, innit? Because she's in her musical lane, in her own respect, and that's all self-built, and I'm in my own musical lane, and my bit's all self-built. And even though we don't meet in the middle, we are very perpendicular in the way we work. We still back each other, and that's loving it. That's what I've always loved that about us. And people, not trying to make us out like we're some power couple and that, because we struggle together, but we win together at the same time.
Come on, man. That's some Beyonce Jay-Z business. Stop trying to be humble, man. You're smashing, man.
She's proper. And a lot of the stuff you see, like marketing vibe and like promotion stuff, it all comes from her, like. Sick. She clocks it. She's the other half of my career, man.
That's
and the other
beautiful,
half
man.
life.
That's definitely, it's beautiful to see, man. Like the support from family, especially in this
This time.
yeah, man. It's like it's definitely needed. Let's talk a little bit about this time, man. This lockdown period. So we've had kind of like a little break from lockdown.
Yeah.
How did you find the lockdown initially, like the first time?
You know what? It kind of was weird because I was furloughed in it at the start,
Right.
but furloughed on full pay. So I had this like vibe of, wow, what am I gonna do with all this free time? And you know what's funny? I did nothing with all that free time. Like I didn't get my studio set up until maybe 6 weeks into lockdown.
Same.
So in like April, just after my birthday, I thought, you know, I'm finally gonna get the studio set up because I can't go Britters and Canes. I can't go, you know, into Manchester like without wearing a mask everywhere.
Yeah.
Not like I got a problem with that, but you know, like I needed somewhere to feel I can create. And you know, you have to be comfortable in your house, man. There's nowhere else you should feel comfortable. The gaff in it, you have to be comfortable there. So got my spare bedroom. I was like, right, I'm gonna get my computer sorted out, get my Logic, and finally bought Logic. You know, wow, finally got Logic, the official copy.
Sick. That's when you know it's serious.
Bro. Who's failed now? Tell my teachers, man. Who's the failure now, bro? Man bought Logic. Wow. Nah, yeah. You know what's funny though? Lockdown was weird because not only did I have all this free time, yeah, but I did have really bad times, like really weird and depressed, and my head was messed. I was drinking a lot. I was chain smoking and feeling like I need to get on the session. I need to, you know, find something to do. And this was before the whole hands, face, space. This is just at the start where it's like, you shouldn't go out, but like you can if you want to, just go do it. Like that kind of vibe. So yeah, it was weird and I didn't feel very creative until sort of May or June. And then I started working from home, got into it again and, you know, had my moments, had good times, had bad times. And it's only in the last sort of 2 weeks where I found a balance and I feel happy, you know, like I feel truly great. And like I've knocked drinking on the head. I stopped smoking, eating healthy again, drinking loads of water, walking every day, and doing a lot of stuff to better myself. And, you know, for once not feeling like I've got substance carrying me.
Yeah.
Like it feels like, you know, because I was on antidepressants and stuff for years, and I was on anti-anxiety medication, and I got off them, and I felt like, cool, man, what next? And it took me ages to get off smoking. It took me ages to get off drinking, and now I feel clear-headed, and I feel like any wins, any happiness I'm feeling, any visceral feeling of like, yes, that's natural. Nothing made that happen apart from my own self.
See, that's like, okay, we're gonna go kind of deep-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about, I feel like a lot of people go through this. So you go through a time where you're on antidepressants, you're on medication, which is keeping you balanced.
Yeah.
But then there's that transitional period of trying to come off them, and trying to then walk by yourself, stand on your own. And I feel like for a lot of people, it's that initial jump is like super hard and
it's harrowing, mate.
That's
like,
the part where you fall. So yeah, speak on that.
Yeah, when I first came off antidepressants, I was on sertraline for months in it, and then me, my missus, and our mates went to Ibiza, and I decided I'm not taking my medication anymore on a whim. And obviously, I'm an impulsive person anyway. I was like, nah, forget this. I ain't taking them anymore. And then within 2 days of me being in Ibiza, I was literally going mental, throwing shit in the balcony and just losing my rag and getting dead aggressive. And it made me really worried about myself. And my missus, like Charlie, was just like, who are you? Like, what is going on? And I've dealt with a lot of that because antidepressants are evil substances, bro. Anything that makes your brain any less than what you literally are is deadly, man. And it should be illegal. I'm not even joking. Like, the amount of people I've spoken to that said they were suicidal from coming off antidepressants. What is the point in them then?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different ways to battle mental health. Like, I used to go float tanks in Vauxhall Bridge, innit? I used to go float tanks, and do sensory deprivation. I used to drink chamomile tea before bed and like get my sleeping on, and like, you know, there's so many other ways to combat mental health. Counseling's great. Like, I've had my bad times, I've had my good times. I've had anger management, CBT, you name it, man. I've had the whole book, and I'm the next chapter, man. But antidepressants are not good. Like, get off them. I know it sounds, because some people it works for them, innit?
Yeah.
But it don't work for everyone, and there is no one size fits all to cure a bad vibe. And there's no, you know, they're not gloves, fam. Like, you can't just put them on and hope that it will make you warm. They might have holes in them. Same as like drugs have holes in them, man. Drugs are bad, innit? Like,
I guess it's like it's a touchy subject. It's a complex issue. But I feel like a lot of people feel the same way that you feel. So moving forward, this is you know what? You ever watch BoJack Horseman?
Yeah, I've been watching it again. I've not watched loads of it, but you know, I've been watching like the first few episodes again, and I need to finish it, man.
It's super deep, man. There's a episode where it goes back in time where he's a kid, and he's talking to his hero, Secretary or whatever his name is, the other horse that is his hero, and he said he's 9 years old. He goes, "Yeah, I'm BoJack, I'm 9," and he was like, "What do you do? You know, sometimes I feel sad. What do you do when you feel sad?" And it's like it's so deep and heartbreaking, because it's like you understand from a 9-year-old's mind what being sad means. So it's like you're dealing with depression, or you're dealing with whatever you're dealing with. So my question, it's my question to you. Like, what do you? It's all good, because I have this a lot as well. When I'm feeling good, I'm good. I'm ready to go. But then something might hit you, and you're like, well, how do you get back on track? So do you have strategies for that, or how do you do that?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because again, there's no one size fits all, and I think the beauty of life is experimentation, and where you have to work at something. And you know, in the same way, in the same concept that 10,000 hours is for music and creative people, I think you have to be putting 10,000 hours into your mental health, because, you know, some people will go through life without ever really truly exploring what is causing their trouble and causing them dramas. Like I have very, very recently, and I always say to Charlie, like, I wish you could see what's going on in my head sometimes, because you get it then. You know what I mean? Like, you'd understand me, because my head's so erratic, and when something bad happens, it feels like the end of the world, apocalyptic things, But when things are great, I feel untouchable. Like, I've took the red pill and the blue pill. Like, I'm ready to go. And I was watching, there was an episode in BoJack Horseman where the guy that the guy is lodging with him, you know, the voice of Aaron Paul, he talks about like how he's not feeling okay today, but it is what it is, because I'll probably not feel okay tomorrow and the day after and the day after. And I don't want to do that anymore, man. Like, I feel like I'm getting balance again. You know what I mean? Like, I had a lot of debt, and I'm now financially more stable than I ever was. Like, you were talking on Twitter a couple months ago about rainy day funds, innit? And you were talking about how you put money aside and that, and you put money back into your own craft. And that's something I never did, in it, because I was always working dead-end jobs and impulsively spending shit and getting credit cards I couldn't pay off, and putting myself in real dire straits to the point my mum and dad are like bailing me out. Like, I've done all that, and now I'm at a point where it's like, if it's not making me happy, don't do it. Just don't do it. You know, like, do the stuff that makes you happy repeatedly. That's what you have to do. So sometimes, I'll get to. I've learned to talk more, and I'd even say about it, it's okay to talk. It is, talk about everything. Like, there's no reason to hide anything, and I've been a hider for many, many years. Compulsive liar, always having reasons not to do things, and always like, I don't want to talk about this. We'll talk about it later, and later never comes. Now I'm at a point where it's like, let's keep the conversation open for good, because it will only help. This is why therapy works. This is why counselling works, and this is why having a good network around you is so important. It's paramount to keeping you sane, man.
I think that that talking point about talking is it's super important, because I think what it does, the more you talk about the issue, it's that whole thing about, this is what I'm doing. Okay, well, why are you doing it? because of this. Well, why are you doing that? Because of this. Well, why? And you just keep going deeper into it until you get to that point of that self-awareness, so you really understand, oh, this is why I do that. Oh, this is, and understand what leads to that. And I think a lot of people don't have that. And I feel like this environment that we're in, this age of social media, where we're allowed to have a front, we're allowed to have a mask all the time, it makes it super easy to lie to yourself.
Yeah.
And like you said about hiding, it makes it super easy to hide, because I can tweet anything and you don't know what I'm really feeling.
100%. You get caught in your own protagonist, bro.
And then people could be like, yeah, that's really good, man. And you're like, oh, they think that's really good, but that's actually not even you. And you're taking credit for that. And I see that a lot. And I see that a lot with people that are dealing with lots of different problems. But a lot of time it comes down to that self-awareness. There's a disconnect with who you really are and who you say you are. And the when you kind of bring those things together, to quote the great poet, the greatest poet of our generation, Drake, you know it's real when you are who you think you are. Yeah, and man, like that's the kind of the point we all need to get to, man.
I completely agree with you, man. And yeah, I mean, the best thing about music, and also the worst thing about having music in your life, is that you have a protagonist that you can always hide behind.
Yeah. And
you can use that for good and bad. Because sometimes I do believe in self-fulfilling prophecy. I do believe if you do something enough, it eventually becomes part of your identity. So I do wonder, like, people that troll on Twitter and people that leave YouTube comments that are rude and that mustn't be fulfilling you, innit? Like, you think it is, but there must be an element of guilt at some point where you think, you know, my guy could have picked it up. Because at the end of the day, musicians and artists, we're in the public eye, but we're not immortal. Yeah. And we're not immune to trouble. Like, I have a song on my new album, which I've just announced, apparently. My new album, where I talk about how reading YouTube videos until no pills remain, 10 hours later I got drips in my veins. And like, that's what it was like, where people were leaving YouTube comments and calling me fat and stuff and saying that I don't look the way I used to look, even though I was the most body confident I've ever been, because I hated how skinny I used to be. When I put on weight, I felt comfortable in myself. And then the YouTube comments that I was reading on a day-to-day basis, even though I thought I was putting out fire, innit? I thought that my music was great. I did the road rage for JDZ and every single comment was taking the mick out of my weight. Then I started to feel not as body confident and my self-esteem went down the pan. Yeah. And this is the problem, innit? Like, because trolls are always going to exist. Yeah. Innit? Like, there is nothing we can do to combat that. But I wish there was more sense in how to approach people. And, you know, I saw something on Luna's Twitter where somebody said, like, suck your mum, brother. Nah, I'm joking, man. How you doing?
I saw that. Yeah.
Then the day after that, I even messaged him and was like, that's hilarious. The next day, someone replied to the comment.
That too. Yeah.
And said, wow, Blizzard's looking thick. Didn't even recognize him, bro. And I was like, it's not really nice, is it? Yeah, but I loved your album. And I was like, say that then. Like, just talk to me. My DMs are open for a reason. Yeah. I talk to people about Money Heist that I don't even know that live in flipping Vancouver. I've got a person I've spoken to pretty much every day for the last couple of weeks about Radiohead, bro. Like, I'm just a person, innit? And I like friendships, and I like to build bonds, and I like to talk about things that make me excited, and I like to feel that, you know, it's not just you listen to my music, log off. Like, I want connections, innit? I want real holy moments. And I don't think that the internet can be really, really unhealthy. And I understand why people take social media detoxes, because that shit will drive you mental, man.
Yeah. I think as well, like, so you touched on something that is really important. It's the idea of being a human online, being who you are online. Like, we say this all the time, that the keyboard warriors, the trolls, and you're in a position, and it's funny as well, because I have a way of dealing with online hate or online trolling.
How? Which is different. That was my next question for you, man. Yeah.
And so what I normally do, and it works a lot of times, is someone will say something horrible and I'll be like, you know what, man, love to you and your family. Then I'll go, nah, wait, like, I didn't mean it like, and then they switch it up, and that's just kind of like a thing that I've just used over time, because I'm one of the original online, where's this guy? Yo, find this guy's address. I wanted to find it, like, and I was just like, this is just wasting time. I don't want to do that anymore. And
I seen it back in the day with you, man.
Yeah,
you
man.
Like, listen, bro, the address, man. I'm there, bro. You're in Hertfordshire. I'm there.
I used to be like that all the time, man. Them ones where you find, you see a mutual friend, like, oh wait, he knows so and so. Yo, who's that? Where is he? Like, give me his phone number. Like, I used to be on all that, and I just thought to myself, you know what? I don't want to do that, because what happens in every single one of them situations, once we get to a place where they know I can get to them, it all changes. The energy changes, and everyone's like, nah, it's just online, man. Just okay, cool. So I've kind of.
The thing is, I could never do that, because I know for a fact that I'll just get banged out. Like, so I could never go and talk crud with people. Like, I've seen it before. Yeah, somebody's talked mad to me, and I've just replied and said, "Right, what are you on then?" And I've looked on their Instagram, and they're wham, bro. And it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna block you and move. Yeah, this ain't me. This ain't me, yeah.
My mind works differently. I'm like, if I don't look like I can beat you up, then I gotta kill you, man. Like, I come with a bat, like.
Yeah. You gotta secure the bat.
Yeah, like, listen, you look dangerous. Okay, I'm calling the man them, but like,
you know, never happens in real life, does it?
Never. I've literally in all the time I've been alive, I've only really had two people, apart from like ops and beef. I've only had two people, strangers, be like rude to me in real life. And it just doesn't happen like that, because I feel like, I think it's Mike Skinner said, would you say we are polite, something, but we are fierce anonymously. So in real life, we're like, you know, we know what we can do and we're cool with each other. But that online thing, we start saying things that we don't really think. And it's so funny as well, yeah. So I was watching a live broadcast yesterday on the election. And so in the comments, like, people are leaving comments now in the live, there's just loads of like F Trump, F Biden, and it's just going back and forth, right? And everyone's a pedo, everyone's this, everyone's that. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, and I actually went to write a comment, and I was gonna say something about Trump, and I was like, wait, why would you do that? Like, these guys are all in there just chatting bare wass, and you're gonna pile in. It means nothing to nobody, because if you break it down and have a conversation with these people, that's not what it is. And even with when the whole Black Lives Matter thing was going on, I had people in my comments going crazy, and I've got like at least 10 fans that are now fans of my music that started. They were like on some racist business. I was like, wait, let's just slow it down a little bit. What do you mean by this? How about that? And nah, do you know what? Like, I didn't really mean that. And yeah. And I had this thing where people were like, oh, of course, yeah, some rappers talking about this. Like, why don't you go back to selling drugs and killing people? And I'm like, yo, go check my music out. And they go, oh, your music's all right, actually. Nah, do you know what? I'm sorry. I said, okay, cool. But then why do that in the first place? Like, why call you names and then have to backpedal? It's really weird. And I just feel like there's a massive disconnect with who we are in ourselves and who we are online.
Shirty on the QWERTY, innit? That's what we do. Shirty on the QWERTY, man.
It's mad, man. It's very mad. But yeah, I think the culture needs to change. And I feel like the culture will change when the actual companies decide, all right, if you want to be on Twitter, you need to put your name up there. We need to know who you are. Like,
you need, your passport needs uploading to the public domain, man. Like when you get a Monzo account and that, you got to post everything. You got to post a video and be like, listen, I want to join Twitter, and anything I say can be used against me at any point.
And then the people who ain't cool with that don't go on it. And I feel like that would be perfect, man. I wish we had that, because there'd be a lot more honesty online. But I guess at the moment, none of the platforms are willing to do that, because they're making too much money off us as it is. Like, it's a bit mad. So
it's like Facebook and that, man, isn't it? Like, it's Facebook can be a blessing and a curse, because my dad doesn't use Facebook, innit, and he never has understood the idea of it. But my mum, for example, will use Facebook, but she can contact family in Ireland and that she hasn't spoken to for 40, 50 years. And, you know, there's two sides of each coin, man, where YouTube comments can be really, really constructive. And I'm not going to lie and say that I haven't seen a YouTube comment that's really made me check myself. Where somebody, like, people will say, this tune was great, but I feel like your kicks are too loud. And I was like, Thank you.
Yeah.
I said that to my friends and they didn't tell me that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I said this to actual musicians and they played it in monitors. And I've
Mm.
got someone with 9 numbers in his username telling me that my kick needs tightening. Fair play.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It doesn't always have to be negative.
That's true. I actually did, there was a guy, I don't know if you've seen it, Canadian Dad Reacts, and he did a reaction to my track.
I've not looked at it, but I've seen videos of his performance.
He's sick, man. And then someone in the comments was like, "Oh, Genesis Elijah, man, he's sick. I'd kill to do a song with him." And I was like, "Bro, man, just holler at me, man. We'll do a song. Like, tell me the." You know what I mean, so sometimes YouTube comments they do work, and we do see them, guys. You think we don't see the comments? We do see the comments.
Fully, yeah, bro. Like, I'm gonna say something. You got some star-studded cohorts, man. I see. You know, I saw Frankie Bowl retweeting your thing, man, and I see Ricky Gervais reaching out to you, man. Like, it's clear that, like, you know, it's funny, innit? Like, when people who don't, you know, some people think that the most important opinions are from musicians, innit? But it's not. Like,
nah, man.
It's the people that you don't expect to reach out to you that mean the most.
Yeah, I think as well, like, one thing that's really changed, especially using Twitter, is since I think I got verified in like 2015 or whatever. But being verified changes a lot of stuff, because those who like, for people who aren't verified, there's a button you can press where you can just see the verified people. Verified. Right, and it's almost like
experience, you know. I only talked that a few weeks ago, and I was getting really annoyed at the amount of people I didn't hit up.
Yeah, I know, because you don't see it. You're like this lost in the shuffle when you go to that, and you're like, oh, what? My man's was following at me and all that kind of stuff, and it's cool. It's just like, it's like the first class lounge of Twitter, and you can just be like, oh wow, you can connect with like all these different people. And it's funny as well, because like the amount of money that gets spent on advertising and marketing, and then Frankie Boyle does a retweet and I get 50,000 views in an hour. You're just like, all right, great.
Innit? Money can't buy that. Bro.
Nah, never. Like, it is nuts. I say, yeah, Ricky Gervais probably changed my career at one point. Like, it was such a big boost at the time. It changed the trajectory of everything I was doing, and I don't think I would have been where I am now if it wasn't for his simple, like, cosign, push, put it up on his website, and all of a sudden it was just like, oh, okay, this is something different. And there's a bunch of people I can mention, Michael Bisbing, a bunch of people that have just reached out for no reason, and I've just been like, the hell, what, you know who I am? Like, this is crazy.
I got a question for you though, Jen.
Yeah, go on, man.
I was looking through my old DMs a few weeks ago, and I actually thought about this question for you. Has there been an artist that you wanted to work with where you've clocked in the DMs that you led him?
No.
Or an artist really fucked with, yeah? And then he's messaged you before he was big?
Nah, I haven't had that, really. But there have been some artists that have said, yo, let's work. And then I've kind of gone, okay, cool. I'm going to wait till I'm in a better place, then get back with you. And then it happened, and it's just not happened. So I put Lily Allen in that list. I put Riz Ahmed in that list as well. Like, guys they were like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not ready. Whereas I would say, whenever someone hollers at you, just go. Like, don't be ready, just go. If you're not ready, you're not ready. But
I agree, man. There's the lightning in a bottle moment, isn't it? Like,
the
amount, like, without name dropping too much, because I don't really agree with it, but just for a bit of context and a bit of like an idea, H messaged me in 2015 asking for beats.
Serious?
And I aired him, bro. I didn't even send him a thing, yeah. And H is where he is, and I'm where I am. And like, he deserves it. But this just goes to show, shoot your shot, man. And one day it might pay off. Like, honestly, one of the weirdest things for me was I sent a beat to Wiley, expecting nothing, and he dissed Dot Rotten on it. Soundboy killer.
Sick.
And then,
I didn't know it was yours. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then, I know. And 5-6 years later, Dot Rotten uses the exact same beat to diss Wiley back.
That's nuts.
And it's like, you can't make that kind of thing happen. And that all happened from a sporadic message where I was like, I just want someone to spit on my tune.
Yeah.
He did. You know what I mean?
That's actually...
Have belief in yourself, you know. Have belief in yourself.
Yeah, that's a good message, man. So what have you got planned for the future? So the album you released came out, when did that come out? August?
Came out got it on my cup. 4th of September.
September, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so it's been October, November is what, like just over 2 months, and I'm nearly finished on the next project.
Are you planning to drop a project this year before the end of this
Yeah,
year?
very
Okay,
soon, bro.
that's
Very
nuts.
soon.
You sent me the intro last night before.
I sent you.
Um,
I think this is the thing. Yeah, you'll learn this about me very soon. You're just gonna get loads of unfinished stuff from me because I thrive off feedback in it. I've already sent you a next follow up to the track I sent you.
I know you did. I didn't even get to. I literally saw it. Was like, oh shit, press play. But I had to. I was like, oh, I need to like be on. We need to be on air in like 2 minutes. I'm not gonna get time to listen to it. So I haven't even listened to it. It's like literally halfway played. But the intro was just nuts. Like I'm sitting there with my missus. I'm just like, yo, are you hearing this? And you know what as well? There's a few guys that I hear music from, and I'm just like, the level of music that you're making is, because I don't, when I have with my favorite artists, some of my favorite artists are people that no one's ever heard of, because I don't really go from, I don't care like who's the size of your audience or how big you are. For me, it's all about the music. Like what's the music, what's the vibe, and the level of music that you're making is elite level music. It's up there with anyone you want to mention. You want to mention the Drakes. It's you can play that and play a Drake song after and be like, yeah, those two go together. They sound like they should be whatever he does. That's what he does. They go together. And it's the levels that's nuts, bruv.
It means a lot, man. Thank you, bro. And I can say the same about you in the same breath, man. Like, you gotta give yourself credit. I know you do. Thing is, I know you're feeling yourself in it, and I respect that.
But it's, you know what? Okay, I am a supreme realist, yeah. So I always try to be super self-aware about my sound, what it is and where it sits and how it is. And I feel like there's certain issues I have with my sound. If I was somebody else, I'd go, nah, do you know what? You shouldn't do that. You should do more of this, and you should streamline what you do. You should keep your sound a bit more uniform. But the problem with that is, I just don't give a fuck enough about anyone else's opinion to be like, oh no. I'm just like, no, I feel like today I'm making a gram track. Tomorrow I'm just gonna be singing over pianos. And it's gonna confuse the hell out of the listeners, but it's not really made for them. It's made for me first, and everyone else, you get the bits you like.
As long as you're doing everything with chest, though, innit? That's what I think.
Like,
you gotta know you gotta bust your gun. You gotta do your thing.
But you know what? Yeah. See, this is a problem I have. Okay, right. So rappers who produce their own music, I have a big problem with them most of the time, and the reason is because I don't think most rappers are as good producers as they are rappers. So case in point, J. Cole. J. Cole is an incredible rapper. He's a competent producer.
Facts.
And I know why he does it, because it keeps your budget nice and low.
Facts. Ownership. You own your masters straight off the...
And I'm not mad at that. That's cool. That's 100% cool. But at the same time, I always felt like J. Cole did himself a diss. To me, someone who doesn't pay J. Cole's bills, so I should shut the fuck up, but I'm just saying what I'm saying. He did himself a disservice early on, because I wasn't a fan early on, because I was always like, your beats just aren't hitting. Your lyrics are cool, but your beats aren't doing what, because you're in the same class as Drake, but Drake is killing it because his beats are on point. Everything about what he's doing is on point, and you're just not there yet. And I feel like I'm exactly the same as J. Cole. I always feel like, lyrics are there, the beats aren't quite there yet, because I'm in the same thing. I like producing my own stuff. Again, I'm a control freak. I know the sound I like, and again, I want all my money. So that's why I do what I do. So again, if I was to say to myself, yo, this is what you need to do. You need to hook up with a producer that's really killing it. Then you'll be sorted. I've kind of got halfway there at the moment with Shapes kind of helping my beats, because a lot of times I'll make the beat and it's just not hitting, but Shapes will just he'll do his magic on it. He'll sprinkle his dust on it. All of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, that's a banger now. So that's why the levels have kind of gone up. With your stuff, I don't feel that at all. I'm just like, the beats are nuts. The lyrics are nuts. The whole thing goes together. If you were like, nah, Dre produced his whole shit, I'd be like, yeah, cool. It sounds like it. Like it's on a level where no one could ever say that. And I feel like that's only it's a real personal thing, and it's something coming from a critical artist who, I'm a person who I overanalyze everything, and I don't think the majority of the public would ever feel that. Like that it would even be an issue. But I just think like
Amazing.
everyone's gonna be like, yo, the beats are nuts. Like everything
Yeah.
of this is just working the way it should.
It's an interesting thing about I find it hard sometimes with producers that rap and rappers that produce, and you know, some people get it just right, and then other people you can tell that it was a secondary part of their career. Now there's an artist I'm really liking at the moment called Nux from London, and he's amazing, and he makes tunes that like Wise is another guy as well. He's sick, but you know, not all of us can get the Drake 40 combo. That's the thing that you have to remember. Not all of us can get the Justin Timberlake and Timbo combo. You know, you just have to accept that. And this is why a lot of artists out there work with tons of producers. If you look at Kendrick's credits, man, like he has tons of producers.
Smart
but
guy.
after a while, Thundercat was the man for him, And then, you know, I love that. And I got to a point where some producers are long in it. Like, let's be real. Let's just be honest. A lot of creatives are long because our minds are elsewhere. We run for the money in it. That's what we do. We do paid features and we hate them and we don't promote them because we're embarrassed that we did it for 200, 300 quid. But the thing is, when you get to a point where you realize your own self-worth and you put in your graft and you feel like you can put a tune together. I'm saying that a lot. Is that the soundbite for the thing?
That's
it. Tune, sing the theme tune. But I got to a point where I was like, all right, cool, I can do this now. And I want 100% on my masters. So bang, done.
I think, sorry.
No, that's good. My point's over.
I think what you're doing right now, I just think it's just perfect, man. And again, like I say, man, I listen to music obviously to enjoy it, but I'm also super critical of music. I can pick apart rappers and pick apart beats and pick apart stuff because that's what I do with my own stuff. And like, and again, sometimes I don't even like saying this to artists because people think like, nah, man, you're gassing. I just feel like your music is just flawless, man. I just listen to it. I'm just like, this is, if I didn't know you and if I was just listening to it, I'd be like, yo, this is what it needs to be. I sat there sitting next to my wife just going, yo, this is like, I know this guy. Like, this is like, for real. This isn't like some next level business, you know what I mean? Something I want to touch on real quick, actually, two things I want to touch on. I can't remember the second one, but the first thing, you mentioned H, what the hell's in Manchester Water? Like, where do you lot get? Why is the talent level so high? And I've said this to bare Mancunian artists. Like, what the fuck's going on over there, man?
I think Manchester as a city is quite selective though, so the good stuff will always rise to the top, and the Manchester scene will get behind it. So a lot of the music that you do hear from the big artists like Banco, Children of Zeus, H, Bugsy, it's almost like they've been hand selected to do well, in a way. And and Eva B as well as another one is just absolutely crazy, man. And you have like, I think talking of Manchester Water, man, like it's just a thing of we all take influence from London. A lot of us do, and I think people would be lying if they said they didn't listen to a lot of London-centric music. But yeah, Charlie's saying we've got the clean water, none of that hard water in it. No Brita filters around here. No, honestly, I'm proud to be from where I'm from in it, and I did fall out of love with it for a bit. I'm not gonna lie, and I needed to be in London for a while. I lived in London for 5 years in it, and I didn't feel like Manchester was a part of my identity anymore for a while because it wasn't anything to do with music. It was a personal journey that I needed to embark on to become me now. And when I was just about to move away from Manchester, I was taking a lot of drugs and I was really unhealthy and I had no pattern. I was living at my mum and dad's rent free, which is great at the time, but you know, you can do whatever you want with no consequence, innit? Like I was old enough to be able to go out and do whatever, but with nothing to keep me grounded and nothing to keep me steady. So when I moved to London, it hit me rapid, innit? Like I was straight away, I had to go to a telemarketing job in Canary Wharf where I'm there in a snapback walking through the Isle of Dogs and there's everyone else in suits in Cabot Square, 70 grand. They look like money, innit? And I'm going to a job selling magazines. You know what I mean? And life hit me rapid, like really, really quick, like a ton of bricks. And it became apparent to me that I needed to change, innit? Like I needed something to give me more sort of fulfillment in life.
Yeah.
And I crafted, like, honestly, like, I had bad times in London, but I've got to say, like, I stuck out jobs that I hated, man. And I needed to do it because I needed the money. Let's be real. Everything revolves around money. You got to pay the bills. You got to pay the rent. You got to have a little bit of money to eat, do your thing in it. But I needed something to give me a reality check. And London did it for me. Then when I came back to Manchester in 2018, I fell in love with it all over again. It just felt like, because I'd had the time away from it and I was an adult now and I had responsibilities and, got my first apartment with Charlie and, it was an amazing feeling. I wasn't living in house shares, sharing a kitchen with 5 people.
Yeah.
I was finally independent and I had my own life, and music wasn't there for very long. You know what I mean? Like, it took a while for me to get back into that pattern of recording. It really probably took about, a year and a half after me moving back, because I did a track with Shaka called You Came to Mind. It was on Radio 1 Extra. I had about 4 grand's worth of bookings in a summer, yeah? So in 3 months, from like April to August, I looked through my notes on my iPhone and I had 4.5 grand's worth of bookings. I got nothing to show for it, bro. So I just spent it.
Yeah.
I just bought stuff and I just ate and I just drank and whatever.
Yeah.
And then I came back to Manchester skint. But it made me feel like I got something to work for now, innit? I'm a blank canvas and I can do this now. Yeah. So I did lose my identity of Manchester for a while, and being in London was good because London's fast paced and it keeps you on your toes, innit?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's because obviously you originally are from London, innit? You didn't always live in Watford, right?
No, I'm a Brixton boy, South London. Yeah.
So I lived in Stockwell, innit? I lived in Oval, and that was the place I was for the longest. I was like, between Oval and Stockwell, and it's fast paced, isn't it? Like,
man, the energy's different.
You need to be there. You need to be doing something. You need to be doing something good, and that's what I was doing. When you move out of that, though, and some people will never understand this because they'll always live in London, innit?
Yeah.
Like, that's just life. Some people do the other way, and they move to Erith, they move to Ricky, or they move to Caterham, and they get just outside of London to feel like, I'm not in London anymore, man. I'm in Surrey now. Like, that's what it is. I went straight back to Manchester, where I came from, and I'm happy, man. Like, this is the happiest I've been in my whole life. Facts.
It's good. It's good to hear, man. It's good to hear. It's good to see as well, because obviously, being a fan and kind of seeing you from the outside, seeing your journey, and I'm a kind of person as well that even if I don't know you, I'm a kind of person I always want to see people doing well.
Yeah,
like, that's what feeds me. That's my energy. That's where I get my energy from. I get energy from seeing Luna Cedars putting a new album out. It's killing it. Like, I love that. To me, I'm like, oh yes, cool. Like, that's the energy I need.
It's the fire in it. It's
yeah,
amazing.
Man.
And you see people around you getting momentum, and like, I've got a mate who just started a record label, and like SNY, my brother from Birmingham's got Slump Clothing now, and he's killing it on that.
He's killing it, man. He's killing it.
Yeah, and Desper with B83, and you see all, and it's great as well. And what's amazing, bro? The thing where it's the black money, you support black businesses. Like, I rate that, man, because I love that people stick together, and especially I think the pandemic has brought a lot of good. Yeah. Because we're supporting businesses, man, and we're supporting the people that need support the most, because these conglomerates will be fine, yeah?
Yep.
Thomas Cook might go bust, but my man's sitting on dough, innit? And he will always be sitting on big dough. Yeah. But you look at these Slumped Clothings, and you look at Why Is This Thing, and you look at all these artists that are grassroots, straight, they're very, very rooted in the culture.
Yeah.
But they can't do gigs no more, man. Yeah. They can't do PAs. They can't, their clients aren't working.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, and I'm seeing you doing these things, innit? Like, you're doing big things, and you're doing your voiceover work, and you're doing I saw the advert for the speaker. Yeah. And it's just inspiring, man, because you're doing things on a scale that a lot of people are striving to be on, but at the same time, you're not making it look unachievable. You're not making it look like it's an impossible feat.
I think that's one of the most important things. So when I teach, or when I lecture on to young people about being in the music industry, one of the things I push is the fact that you don't have to be Stormzy. You don't have to be. You don't have to be the biggest in the game. There's so many avenues for you to, if not make decent money, to make a living, or make enough as a side hustle to supplement what you do and to be able to reinvest into that to make it into something. People forget that I've been doing this for 20 years. So the point I'm at, I've put 20 years of graft into it for it to get where it is. And what I know is that people can do this way quicker. Like I can get people to the level that I'm at in under 5 years if you just follow the steps and just understand. Yeah, man, it's baby steps. It's small bits and pieces.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, man, and it's just being consistent with it and not going, you know, oh, what's that shiny thing over here? What's that over there? I'm a kind of person that I get that a lot because I'm always looking for stuff. My attention span is super short, so I'll see something and be like, oh, let me try that. Oh, let me try that. But it's like, nah, you know, just the thing you love. If you can just stick with the things that you love, don't worry about the money. The money comes after. Fall in love with the work. Fall in love with the work. The money comes. You know what I mean?
The struggle's beautiful, man.
It is, man. It is, and it's like I said, man. It's beautiful to see the way you work, what you've done, and the place you are now. And I'm just interested to see what comes next, man. You know, like I got yeah, I got high hopes, man. I got high hopes.
Yeah, you got hopefully, man. Like I want to drop a project in lockdown. I fully want to do that, or at least something right after. I'm feeling like I've never been able to say I'm a couple projects ahead, and it's something I envy a lot of people, like, because I speak to some like Britters and Kane, man. God, he works hard, man. Like, and it annoys me. Like, I want to just say, fucking stop, bro. Just stop working for 10 days or something. Like, he's a monster, and you're the same as well. Like, what people don't know about Jen, yeah? I sent him a tune, and he sent me a demo in half an hour. Half an hour, bro. I could have watched BoJack. And, yeah, madness. And this is what I like, man. And do you find this, Jen, that having people that graft around you keeps you on your toes so much? It's like being in the sparring ring all the time, 24/7.
100%, man. That your network depicts your your network depicts your net worth. So like, and your average of the 5 people you spend the most time around. And I've kind of for the last maybe 5 years, I've tried to keep myself in touch with people that I look up to. So there are a few people that I stay in connection with because I know these guys outwork me. It's like they say, if you're the smartest guy in a room, you got to find a new room. And I always make sure that I'm the dummy in the room, just looking around like, what? You lot are doing that? Like, what? Yeah. I mean, and that's what kind of pushes me to do more. So yeah, that's always my thing. My thing is like, even when I played basketball when I was younger, and like I want to play with the older lot. I don't want to play with the kids my age because that makes no sense.
You need competition, innit? Yeah.
And
this is like, it's an important thing, man. Sorry to interrupt. That's a very important thing, is to have people to keep you on your toes.
It's good to see, man. I had this idea. Yeah, this is another idea I had. Yeah, when we get back to normal, Manchester versus the world tour. You, Shotty, Luna, Children of Zeus. Like, imagine that, man.
Don't know why Luna's there, because he's from Leeds, isn't it?
Oh, is he? What? Yeah, he's not a Manny guy. Nah, Luna, man, come out, man. You can't be in it.
But, if it's he's on the world side, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Fairman as well.
Like, he can be against us, man.
I swear, man. Just like that whole area, it's up north, man. It's scary. The amount of talent that I just see, I'm just looking like, what is going on, mate? But it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to see. But I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to see what you do. I just, guys, if you haven't heard, go on Spotify, man. Go listen to Blizzard's music. It's just nuts. I can't gas it anymore. Like, it's right there, man. Merch and all that. You got merch for sale as well?
Nah. This is just a one-off.
Oh, come on, man.
That's what's funny, man. Who do you think got me this? Charlie.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I could even show you now. My room's a bit of a mess still, but there's still balloons from my album launch, man.
See? Oh, that's love right there. See?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get that merch.
Yeah, you killed it with the merch, man. I'm gonna cop the hustle hoodie in it.
Same, man. Yeah, that's another tip I always give to artists, man. Just always have have merch. I see you were the last person to buy a hard copy CD, pinged up earlier. So thank you for the support.
Better sign that, bro.
I do that, man. I do that. Why do I not have any here to even show the camera? That's how much I'm slacking.
Yeah, I bought the last one. That's why, man.
Nah, don't say that, guys. We still have it, man. Come on, please buy some more. I don't want to sit.
You better re-up, man, because I'm pushing the damn thing, man.
Oh yeah, we might. I'm not sure, man.
What's beautiful as well, by the way, this was supposed to be an hour long for the record, guys. This is going too well. It's going too smoothly. But one thing that I love is when artists openly push each other. Like, it's a rare thing to see, yeah. But I'm all of a sudden, like, recently, I've stopped being as selfish with my social media, because social media isn't just me as an artist, it's a depiction of myself in it. Yeah. So I'm retweeting a lot more people, and I'd like to think that someone might click on someone and find their new favorite artist off me, but they're still listening to me because they still follow me on Twitter. And this is the thing, like, just push your friends in it, push your network and get them big, and you'll get big, and then everyone wins in it. Everybody eats.
I think that's the bit that a lot of people don't understand. This is why I started this show. This is why the Hip Hop UK TV platform started in the first place. We got the playlist where we're putting up other artists' music. We've been pushing other artists' videos and actually hosting videos on our page. We're going to continue to do that. But my thing has always been, like, I'm trying to be a platform to push other artists.
Back your brethren, isn't it?
Yeah, man. And even I was doing that thing before, buying people's merch. Just like, yo, what merch you got to sell? Let me buy some merch. Let's buy some merch. I've got a drawer which is just literally filled up with artist t-shirts and hoodies that I've bought. Like, I ain't even worn half of them yet, but I'm gonna wear them on video shoots and things like that, because I always feel like that's what we need to do. One of the big things that kind of changed probably the direction and how I moved in the game was I just went from a place of there's no competition. I'm trying to push everybody. Like, I'm not trying to kill anybody. I think when I was younger, I used to see other artists as competition, like, yo, what are they doing? I need to do that more. Whereas now it's just like there can be no competition, because, like I said earlier, there's too many lanes. Like, there's too many lanes.
Your own competition. I think that's you should be your only rival in a way. Like, I don't know if you've seen Matthew McConaughey's acceptance speech, where he thanks his parents, he thanks God, and he thanks himself 2 years from now. And he said, that's the person I strive to be. And in 2 years, I'm going to look back and say, yeah, that was good, but I'm still not the person 2 years from now. The person that's 2 years from now is always ahead, and that's the person you should be striving to be. Because, you know your true capability deep down in your mind. Even if you have the worst mental health, even if you really don't like your own music and you can't bear to listen to it, you know your own worth, and you need to be looking higher than what you think you're capable of, because it won't disappoint you either. You're never disappointing yourself, because if you strive and do the best you can, you're winning. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're doing what you can. And it's like when parents, when they're, when your kids, when my mum and dad would say, you might not pass all your GCSEs, Brad, but you got to try your best to, because that's all you can do. Yeah. You can't make yourself better at something if you don't try, because everything comes from the art of rehearsal. Yeah. Everything comes from muscle memory and learning, and everything is a path. Yeah. You can either block off the path, you can create it, you can create new ones. You know what I mean? Like, there was that's it. Andrew Solomon, who does a TED Talks, and he's a mental health advocate. He says, forge meaning, find identity.
Right.
And I like that. I've sampled him in one of my tracks as well. But forge meaning, find identity. You have to think about what you want to do and leave it. It's like it's like The Secret, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like The Secret. You got to make your thoughts become things. You got to dream it. You know what I mean? You got to live it, and you got to feel it.
I'm a massive advocate of thoughts become things. I push that so hard, and I feel like that ethos has changed my life. And you can see a point, like I always mention, like around 2015, that's when everything changed for me. This laptop I'm using now, the backdrop is a house that I want to get one day, and just having the idea of like, yo, this is the point we're moving towards. This is what controls. This is what
like me.
I'm thinking. Like, to me, it helps. And it's like, okay, you know what? I can't get that house yet, but I've got this house and I'm moving towards that one. You know what I mean? And it just keeps you moving, man. I think it's really important to do, man. But I think on that note, man, we're gonna end this interview. Not even an interview, this conversation. It's been really cool. Like I've spoken to you online, but I've never had like a face-to-face convo.
Face-to-face.
And this has just been
closest we'll get.
Yeah, right, yeah, for now, man. It's been amazing, man. It's been amazing. It's been like I said, guys, man, you just go check the music, because it's gonna give you an insight into like who Blizzard is, and go check the music in the future, man. But yeah, bruv, thank you for your time. And just big you up as a person, man. Like we've been getting kind of close the last couple of weeks and stuff, and it's just been like, I feel like
we're very like-minded, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It's like bare stuff I just see you doing. I'm just like, all right, cool, yeah. And I like that energy, man. It's just like, yeah, man's cool. And it's beautiful to see, man.
I was, you know what's funny though? Like there was a point where I was scared to shout you in it, because I always saw you on an upper echelon to the kind of music that I was making, where like I was seeing your polished, finished end product, and I was aspiring and thinking, I want my shit to sound like that. I want my shit to feel like that, and I want my stuff to look like that. And then I got over my fears, and I was like, nah, I want to be part of this movement, and I want to feel like, you know, we're like-minded in a lot of ways. I look through your social media, and it's inspiring, man. And you know, keeping people that are good around you can only do good. You know what I mean?
And that's crazy. You're looking at me like, wow. And I'm looking at you like, wow.
I love it, man.
That's nuts, man. That's super nuts, man. All right, bruv. Stay on the line, yeah? I'm going to say goodbye to these good people. We've actually managed to keep our live viewers the whole way through for an hour and a half, which is nuts, which we never do. So that's for real. That's big up to you, man. But yeah, man. Anyone else you wanna do any shout outs, or let us know about what's coming up or anything like that?
Yeah, man. So obviously socials, I am Blizzard, SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, follow all that. Logical Lunch Break album's out now. The instrumentals are out as well if you want to listen to them and you like that. Gotta do it, man. Stuff I made earlier, beat tape, that's out. Logic in Lockdown's coming.
Jeez.
Announcement. That's going to be fun. All self-produced like the first album was. That's going to be great. And yeah, just find what you love, do it, you know, love yourself, love everyone around you, and just spread more love, man.
Crazy. Nah, thank you. Bless. All right, cool. Give me 10 seconds to talk to the good people. Yeah, man, that was, you know what? That's the perfect way for us to come back to this little series we're doing. We're going to be back on Monday, inshallah, God willing, hopefully. And we're going to try and do it on a, I'm going to try and go back to doing every day. Let me just, big up everyone who was in the chat. Like, obviously, big up Charlie representing, but everyone else, it's appreciated. Please keep sharing the videos, letting people know that we're out here. Let me pay some bills. Hoodie's out. Go get it. This is my hustle hoodie. My album's out now. The Creature from Beneath the Mainstream. You can go get that. Go check that. But guys, man, just stay blessed, stay safe, and yeah, man, it's all peace and love, guys. I will catch you here on Monday. Peace.